coming to you from deep inside the bowels of a great big empty. Get ready for another episode of The Home Defense Show with Skip Coryell.
Hello, American families. Welcome to this week's episode of The Home Defense Show. I'm your host, Skip Coryell. And if you love your family, care about them deeply, and want to learn how to protect them in every facet of your life, then you've come to the right place. We have a great show for you today. It's an unusual show, but it's a great show. I have moved my broadcast facility down into my basement. It's nice and cool here. We have had, our highs have been 90 to 96 over the past week. It's just been ungodly heat. I know our friends to the south who are listening think that's not ungodly. That's like room temperature. But for us Michiganders up here in the great frozen north, 96 degrees is a lot of degrees. So we are dealing with that, and I've moved down into my basement. So because it's only about 75 down here, I moved my office down here. I've got my workout gym, my weight machine here, so I can get into shape. Actually, it's a little funny. My 23-year-old son came over yesterday to help me move my weightlifting machine downstairs, and I threw my back out doing it. It seems like, boy, that kind of defeats the purpose of moving the weight machine so I can lift weights, so I can get in shape, and I throw my back out while I'm doing it. So I figure, at 61 years of age, I'll go ahead, I'll wait a few days before I start lifting weights again so that I don't hurt myself. It's so frustrating getting old. I just hate it. But getting back to the show, we are going to be interviewing in segments 2 and 3. I tried to get Keanu Reeves on the show, and for some reason, the guy's a bit of a recluse. I couldn't get any contact info for him. You go to yellowpages.com, he's an unlisted number. It's the oddest thing. So in segments, I've heard about this movie that he did called John Wick. And I watched The Matrix, and I just absolutely loved all of those movies. Not realistic gunfighting, but it's sci-fi, so you wouldn't expect realistic gunfighting, right? But, people have told me, people whom I trust, that, John Wick, that movie, is just an awesome representation of tactical pistol fighting. I don't know if that's true, but I thought, you know what? I'll watch the movie anyways, just to see what it's like. And I haven't watched the movie yet. I'm holding it right here in my grubby little hand. And I ran out to Walmart to get it this morning. And so I'm going to be watching that right after segment 1. Then I will come on the air and I will do a review in segment 2 of the movie John Wick. And then in segment 3, I'm going to interview John Wick. I understand he's a fictional character and you think he's not real, but I did find his phone number. I got in contact with John Wick, so I'll be doing a phone interview. I don't want to be face-to-face, with a gunfighter like this. But if his reputation, if he's as good as his reputation, I don't want to be in the same room with him. But anyways, that should be very interesting. So segment 2, the review of the movie, John Wick. And then in segment 3, the actual interview with the character John Wick. All right, enough of that. What has been going on? We have a predatorial infestation on my 20-acre woods here. We are losing almost one chicken a day. Almost every night we have a dead chicken, and typically the heads will be eaten off, the crop will be eaten. The other day we had almost the entire chicken eaten right there in our coop. And I wanted to know what was going on. So my son Cedar, he had his first guard duty opportunity, and he camped out on the roof of our chicken shed from 10 p.m. and he was out there till 3:30 a.m. And I'm proud that my son Cedar, 13 years old, he was out there with a 410 Remington Model 870 shotgun with number 6 shot. He got his first confirmed kill. I know that doesn't sound very politically correct, but this is the Home Defense Show and I don't care. But, you know, I camped outside as well, simply because I didn't want my 13-year-old out there with a shotgun by himself his first time around. I want to make sure I can trust this kid. He's got good judgment, all that stuff. And I remember about 1:30 a.m., I heard the shot. And I run out there and announce myself so he wouldn't shoot me. And he's climbing down off the shed. And, you know, he shot his first possum. And I'm so proud of that guy. You know, the possum's coming in to, you know, eat a chicken. And people say, oh, cute little possum, they wouldn't eat a chicken. No, yes, they will. What they like to do is they eat the head, and then sometimes they open up the chest cavity and they pull out the crop, which is filled with corn, and then they eat the corn out of the crop. Raccoons and possums will both do that. And then the next day, I thought, I got to find out, you know, more about this. You know, what does Sun Tzu say? Know your enemy, right? So I put out a trail camera, and then I put out some peanut butter, marshmallows, and honey. I stirred it all up, and I put it in a bowl, and I set it right in front of my trail camera where I thought these predators were coming, because I want to know what we're talking about here. Are there more possums? Are they raccoons? Whatever. And I went out to get the next day. I go out there and I look at the videos, and there is the biggest, giant, junkie, prehistoric raccoon I've ever seen. This raccoon is huge. It's just huge. I tried to live trap it. It walks in to the live trap, eats the bait, backs out, and it trips the trap, but it's so big, its butt is hanging out the back, the opening of the live trap. So either maybe I could buy a coyote trap or something that would be big enough. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to feed it more peanut butter, marshmallows, and honey because it likes that. And then I'm going to put my son Cedar up on the roof of our shed at the bottom of the hill there. And I'll give him that 410 shotgun. Maybe I should put buckshot in there because this is a big raccoon. I don't know. Geez, man, it's got to be 25 pounds. This is a big raccoon. You know, I'll keep him up on top where it's safe. I don't want him eaten by this prehistoric raccoon. But, you know, I went online and I was doing some more research on this because, you know, anytime you kill anything, you know, even if it's a mouse, you've got to check the laws, right? Because you never know in our society what's legal to do and what's illegal to do. And so the first thing I thought, you know, I have heard rumors and I've had people tell me, well, you know, that's easy. All you got to do is take some fly bait, put it in some Coca-Cola and set it in a dish, and the raccoon comes, they drink the Coke, and then they die. And I thought, well, you know, maybe I should check on that before I actually do something like that. So I went ahead, I went online, and I come across this article. It's from MLive. DNR bust farmer using fly bait to poison raccoons. A Michigan farmer was recently busted for using poison to kill raccoons. According to an official Department of Natural Resources report, the incident occurred in late August when Matthew Netterer, a conservation officer in DNR District 8, drove by a cornfield in Ingham County and noticed several live traps set on the field's edge. Upon further investigation, Conservation Officer Netterer found 2 pie plates containing a blue gel. A short time later, a farmer pulled up and admitted to placing fly bait in the pans as an attempt to reduce the raccoon population. According to the report, the suspect went on to say, you know, I would never think of a farmer killing raccoons as a suspect, but like I said, you never know. The suspect went on to say that he didn't have the heart to dispatch the animals himself and resorted to poison. Conservation Officer Netterer explained how dangerous and reckless his actions were to both domestic animals and non-target wildlife, the report said. The man was issued a citation for attempting to take game with poison. DNR District 8 also includes Branch, Calhoun, Clinton, blah, 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 blah. Okay. All right, so we can rule out poison. Not supposed... I know a lot of people do this. Okay, I understand the reality of it. But, folks, if you do this, don't talk about it. Okay, because you might end up with a DNR officer showing up on your front porch with some type of a citation. I don't know what the citation is. Maybe it's only $50 or $100. Maybe it's a misdemeanor. I don't know. So just okay, lesson learned, right? Learn by other people's mistakes. If you do that, you'll have a lot less heartache. So no poison, no fly bait. You know what? Maybe just plain Coca-Cola will kill them. Who knows? That stuff's not that good for you, right? Who knows? So, can I shoot him, right? Did my son break the law when he shot that possum inside the chicken coop? Well, I did a search on that. This one's about raccoons, but, I've checked, and possums inside your chicken coop, that is also considered a nuisance animal. This is a Brad Flory column. Choosing to kill a raccoon instead of trapping it alive is no crime. Good to know, right? Nocturnal garbage pickers rarely receive publicity, but one of Jackson's hottest stories this week is about a raccoon, a dead raccoon. Nationwide exposure was given to the raccoon-related plight of a Spring Arbor Township man. He was charged with animal cruelty for setting loose his dog to kill a raccoon that ripped up his garbage. I never would have thought that sicking your dog on a raccoon was a crime. Maybe I'm cruel. I just never would have thought that. I would think, hey, good dog, you're doing your job, right? But apparently, it's not. Many people find the prosecution ridiculous. They compare the alleged crime to a cat killing a mouse. I guess I'm in that camp. Others say encouraging a dog to kill another creature is cruel on its face. Well, now, this isn't a cockfight here. This is a raccoon doing damage inside in your garage. The raccoon deserves to die. If nothing else, we have new things to consider when pests invade. Michigan law clearly says we can kill raccoons to stop property damage. Prosecutors contend a crime was committed not because the raccoon died, but because it suffered cruelly in the jaws of the dog. Dog on raccoon violence. I'm sorry, that phrase. Dog on raccoon violence must be ugly. I must be sick. But it's tempting to wonder if anyone would call it a crime if the same thing happened to a disgusting sewer rat instead of a cute raccoon. Yeah, those baby raccoons are so cute until they start tearing everything apart and eating your chickens. Baby raccoons were born inside my chimney in May, then plucked out by my son's friends. They were adorable, my wife says. She means the newborn raccoons, not the teenage boys. To save the adorable little thing, she called a pest control company and asked for names of shelters or humane societies or animal rescue groups. No place takes raccoons, she was told, because raccoons are overpopulated pests that carry rabies. The man said we should kill them. Kill them? Heaven forbid. My wife put the raccoons outdoors in a box, and the next morning they were gone. She hopes they joyously reunited with their mother and now lead happy and productive raccoon lives. I think something ate them. No, probably what happened is they got out, they lived, and now instead of, 8 baby raccoons, you have, 80 baby raccoons because they reproduce every single spring. Here's the point. Cute or not, raccoons are so close to vermin that not even animal welfare organizations want them. Choosing to kill a raccoon instead of trapping it alive is no crime. A gun would deliver the cleanest kill, but I would not wish to shoot a gun inside my garage, probably a good idea, if other alternatives were available. Unleashing a trained dog to root out and kill a raccoon would strike me until this week as a viable option. Farm dogs do killing work for farmers all the time. True. Making a crime of this man's choice for raccoon killing, to my mind, must mean the pests that invade our homes are entitled to the least objectionable death possible. If that's the law, implications go far beyond the demise of one raccoon. You know, there's only one comment on this. Let's open up that comment. What does it say? Nocturnal garbage pickers rarely receive publicity, but one of Jackson's hottest stories. Okay, that's from the author. So there are 0 people who commented on this, and this article is like 8 years old. People don't want to comment on this because they're afraid of being called bad people. But my comment would be, folks, kill every raccoon you can find. All right? When you're driving down the road, I'm not giving you legal advice here, but when you're driving down the road and a raccoon runs out in front of you, let's just say it's dangerous to swerve to miss the raccoon. You could swerve into oncoming traffic. You could run off the road. So don't swerve. If the raccoon runs out in front of you, I would consider it suicide. Okay? But the fewer raccoons, the better. So what does that tell me? That tells me that my son needs to camp out on the roof of our shed down there over a pan of peanut butter marshmallows and honey and just wait for that giant prehistoric, 500-pound raccoon to come up there. And we will dispatch the raccoon, and he will stop killing my chickens. I can't afford to feed chickens to my raccoons here. I just can't afford it. I mean, these baby chicks, they cost like $3 a piece. Then you've got to feed them for about 9 months before they even lay an egg. So I've got probably thousands of dollars into my chickens. I am not going to feed them to raccoons. So, you giant prehistoric monkey-faced raccoon, you're cute, you're cuddly, you come back tonight, you're going to die. All right, enough insensitivity for one day. We're out of time for this segment. When we come back, I will have watched the movie John Wick. I've heard that there's like over 300 kills in this. So call me insensitive, call me bloodthirsty, whatever you want. I'm going to watch this movie. I made sure that my wife and kids, they are not home while I'm watching this movie. I'm sequestered in the basement, and I've got headphones. So I'm going to watch this on my computer. No one will know, except my listeners, that I watched this movie. I've got my Frappuccino. It's ice cold. I've got a cheese sandwich, my favorite, Tillamook cheese from Costco. So I'm looking forward to this. I will give you an honest review, my pistol tactical instructor's opinion on John Wick when we come back. All right, we got a 2-minute break. While we're away, go ahead and check out our sponsors, firearmslegal.com/Midwest Tactical, and see how they can protect your family against the criminal justice system should you ever have to use deadly force to protect them. Then also go to Center Shot Gun Range, centershotgunrange.com. Check out Center Shot Indoor Gun Range in Dorr, Michigan, especially during this 90-degree heat, where it's always a perfect 70 degrees. This is Skip Coryell on Home Defense Show. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back.
Welcome to the Home Defense Show with my dad, Skip Coryell. Don't go nowhere. We'll be right back.
Do you have a story inside you yearning to come out? As a self-published author, you are free to creatively distribute your book online or using your own professional connections. White Feather Press will publish your manuscript and set up online distribution allowing the author to retain all copyright and distribution rights as well as all profits. Check out White Feather Press at publishyourdream.com. White Feather Press, reaffirming faith in God, family, and country. Go to publishyourdream.com today. Hey folks, I want to tell you about my book, Civilian Combat, the Concealed Carry Book. More and more people across the country are seeing the dangers in society and are deciding to carry concealed to protect themselves and their families. My new book lays it out step by step. It'll teach you how to protect and defend the ones you love. Get the benefit of 19 years of teaching experience and a lifetime of training for this important role in society and in your family. You can get Civilian Combat real easy. Just go to Amazon.com, search on Skip Coryell Civilian Combat, and it'll pop right up there. Don't put it off any longer. Get Civilian Combat, the Concealed Carry Book by yours truly, Skip Coryell. Would you like to take your tactical and marksmanship training to the next level? If the answer is yes, you need to check out Center Shot Indoor Gun Range just south of Grand Rapids, conveniently located off US 131. Center Shot is one of the most advanced firing ranges in Michigan. Center Shot firing lanes have nearly 100 customizable shooting programs to make you better no matter what your skill level. Our advanced lanes allow a more immersive training experience to enhance your senses. Controlled lighting and target movement mean that you get the best practice and most fun out of Center Shot Indoor Gun Range. Memberships are available for as low as $150. Center Shot also offers a 10% discount to U.S. military veterans. So, no matter what the weather, hot, cold, or in between, Center Shot Indoor Gun Range is always a perfect 70 degrees. This is where I train every week, and so should you. Find out more by going to CenterShotGunRange.com or call them at 616-371-7468. Stay safe, and I'll see you at Center Shot Indoor Gun Range.
This is Colonel Danny Gillum. I host Frontlines of Freedom, a weekly syndicated military talk radio show. One of my co-hosts is Skip Coryell, the host of this show. We cover things that impact military and veteran communities, and we do it from the veteran's perspective. The show is broadcast across the nation and is also available as a podcast on our website, frontlinesoffreedom.com. Please join Skip and me weekly on Frontlines of Freedom.
Okay, folks, welcome back to the Home Defense Show. This is your host, Skip Coryell. Well, I finished watching John Wick. And if I had to describe it in one word, I would probably say, wow. It wasn't really what I was expecting. Boy, the first 10 minutes or so were just kind of like character development. But after that, once the action starts, it really doesn't stop till the very end of the movie. I was just really blown away by that. But before I get into that, let's give people some little bit of background here. What exactly is John Wick, right? Well, I go to imdb.com. That's the movie database website. Whenever you want to find out anything about a movie, go to imdb.com. India, Michael, Delta, Bravo.com. An ex-hitman comes out of retirement to track down the gangsters that killed his dog and took everything from him. Does that sound like a country and western song? I mean, my gosh. And then we go down a little bit further here, and it's got a storyline. The storyline says, with the untimely death of his beloved wife still bitter in his mouth, John Wick, the expert former assassin, receives one final gift from her, a precious keepsake to help John find a new meaning in life now that she is gone. And that was a little dog, cute little beagle puppy. But when the arrogant Russian mob prince, I think it's pronounced Yosef Tarasov, and his men pay Wick a rather unwelcome visit to rob him of his prized 1969 Mustang and his wife's present, the legendary hitman will be forced to unearth his meticulously concealed identity. Blind with revenge John will immediately unleash a carefully orchestrated maelstrom of destruction against the sophisticated kingpin Vigo Tarasov and his family, who are fully aware of his lethal capacity. Now only blood can quench the boogeyman's thirst for retribution. That boogeyman, that term that was used, throughout the whole movie. One of the quotes there from Vigo, that's the father, the godfather of this Russian mob, right? He said it when he was explaining who John Wick was. He said, "I once saw him kill 3 men in a bar with a pencil." Then he said, "He's not the boogeyman. He's the one you send to kill the boogeyman." And I guess that about sums it up right there. But, I tell you, the movie, it was, when? 2014. Since then, there's been, John Wick 2 and John Wick 3, and it looks like John Wick 4 is coming out in 2021. So if you really like this franchise, then you have something to look forward to. I'm torn. I have mixed emotions about this. It's an R-rated movie. Rated R for strong and bloody violence throughout, language and brief drug use. They smoked some dope, I think. That didn't bother me so much. Boy, I tell you, I got a pretty strong stomach. But, geez, a friend of mine told me over 300 people died in this movie. And I got to wonder how many people would count the deaths. But there are some people who have a lot of time on their hands. And apparently John Wick, Keanu Reeves, killed over 100. I struggle with gratuitous violence. Because in my mind, there is a correlation, there's a connection between violence in the movies and violence in real life. And some of you might be surprised by that. I love a good, Bruce Willis Die Hard movie, right? And what's the difference here? Well, I guess the difference is, Bruce Willis is a cop, and he's going after bad guys, and John Wick is a retired mob assassin who's going after bad guys. Yeah, and I guess it's really the storyline. I have a problem with the storyline. He kills over 100 men. And don't get me wrong. He's really good at his job. Okay? I mean, boy, I've never seen so many face shots in my life. But I just wonder, what effect does that have on people who are watching these movies? When I first started watching it, first half hour or so, I'm into it, I'm into the action. But, after a while, it's like I reached a threshold, a violence threshold, and I wanted it to be over. And this might surprise some of you, I don't know. But it's like, I don't want to seem like a hypocrite, because what do I do for a living? I teach civilians, primarily, how to kill people, okay? But there's always a context to the killing. And I talk about this in my book, Concealed Carry for Christians. There's always a morality to it. I'm always asking the question, why are you killing? And to me, that is very vitally important. Why are you killing? Are you killing to protect your family, to protect your spouse, to protect your kids, an innocent bystander? Why are you doing that? And I would never compare myself to a John Wick type character. I would compare myself more to, a Marine or a police officer, in the civilian venue. But John Wick, why was he killing all these people? Basically, it was for revenge. I mean, granted, there was some pain. I mean, I get that, right? His wife dies. Closely after that, he gets a puppy from his dead wife. She had prearranged that. And then they took that from him. And so he got overwhelmed with depression and then anger. Anger is almost always a secondary emotion. But how many of us, honestly now, in real life, would kill someone for revenge? I don't think any of us would. And that's the departure from, real life to the movies, right? This is a fictional character. But I just wonder, these fictional characters, they tap into an angst in our soul and part of our personality. All of us want to see justice, right? We want justice, and if justice isn't served, then, we can become angry, self-righteous, but the reality is, this is not a just life that we live. If we really got justice, would we be happy? Because every one of us has done bad things that we shouldn't have done. So if we get justice, what do we get? Now, granted, these mob people, yeah, they're bad people, right? Do they deserve to die? Yeah, they deserve to die. But should the movie have even been made? That's the question that keeps running in the back of my mind. Should this movie have even been made? Because what is the movie doing? If you listen to Lieutenant Colonel Dave Grossman, one of the books that he wrote was, Stop Teaching Our Kids to Kill. And it had to do with, violent video games and movies and things like that, violent media. Do we really want to be that desensitized to violence? That's the question that kept coming up in my mind. How desensitized to violence do you really want to be? And, one of the things that came to my mind while I'm watching this is, my son Cedar. He got his first confirmed kill, 3 or 4 days ago. It was a possum that was coming into, the chicken coop. And again, I point to the context of the killing. And he's 13 years old. I remember being 13. I remember that being a tender age for me. I remember at I think it was age 14, I killed my first rabbit. And I was still tender, even at age 14. I always had a soft heart. I really did. And, I shot this rabbit. I was with my dad, blew off both the back legs. And this poor rabbit was dragging itself along on its front feet, with its useless, stumps going behind it. And I cried and cried and cried. And this rabbit, it was snow on the ground. This rabbit drug itself into a hollow stump, and my dad had to reach down in there and get the rabbit. And the rabbit bit him on the finger. I mean, it's funny now, but it wasn't funny at the time. I was bawling my eyes out. And then he pulled it out and wrung the rabbit's neck. And, I didn't want to hunt after that for several years. It was just a really traumatic experience for me. Now, it's like, we live trapped a baby raccoon a few days ago, just yesterday. And, I didn't want my 13-year-old son to go through, something similar, right? I don't want to desensitize him to killing. Certainly, even though it's necessary sometimes. So I went out, took my Ruger Mark III, and went out there and, popped the raccoon in the head. 60 seconds, he's dead, thrashes a little bit. I never enjoy that. I never enjoy doing that. Quite frankly, I hate doing that. Baby raccoons look so cute. But the reality is that cute little baby raccoon next year will be a big adult raccoon and will breed and will sire hundreds of raccoons in its life and become overpopulated. And they will all want to eat my chickens. So, you got to make a choice. Do you want raccoons? Or do you want dead chickens? Or do you want them to tunnel underneath your garage and collapse your cement floor? Do you want them in your attic? Do you want them in your basement, in your house? Sometimes, you're that old saying, this town ain't big enough for the two of us. Well, a raccoon out in the woods, live and let live. A raccoon in my chicken coop, one of us has got to go, and it's going to be the raccoon. But, my son, Cedar, I want him to be a kid. I want him to be sensitive. It's like we're walking on this razor's edge, right? The apex of the knife. You fall to the left, and you join the Humane Society, and you become a tree-hugging, anti-killing thing that can't do anything, would let someone kill you rather than take a human life, or even the life of a stray cat, or in the Humane Society, they kill stray cats all the time. They kill stray dogs all the time. They kill more pets than anyone else in the planet. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing, because you have to keep these populations under control. The land has a carrying capacity. And animals are animals. They're not people. That's why I think the movie John Wick bothered me so much. Because I'm a sensitive guy. I really, really am. I always have been. But I know, and there are feelings and there's intellect. There's feelings and then there's reason. Okay? And on the one hand, strictly an emotional level, the last thing I want to do is kill anything, an animal or a human. But when you add intellect and reason, you end up with a balance. You end up somewhere in between. There is, the Bible says there's a time for everything under the sun. There's a time to kill, right? And when that raccoon gets in your chicken coop, that's the time to kill. I mean, the raccoon knows that. It just wants a free meal, right? But with the movie John Wick, the context of the killing, I think that's what bothered me. The totality of the circumstances doesn't say that John Wick is a nice guy and he's just acting out his grief. This is the grieving process, right? It's like, yeah, my wife just died, you killed my dog, you stole my car, so I'm going to kill over 100 people. That's how I work through my grief. And I understand some of you are going to say, listen, Skip, lighten up. It's just an action-adventure movie. Yes and no. Okay? Yes and no. As far as the tactics, the gunplay, wow. That was awesome. He was shooting an HK P30 with this huge compensator, custom compensator on the front. It made the barrel look a lot longer. That was his primary firearm, 9mm, I assume, and a 15-round magazine, big gun, nice gun. I've shot those before. They're really nice. It's a nice handling gun. Realistic as far as the violence, obviously. Headshots, 3 out of 4 headshots, resulting in immediate incapacitation. And I think 4 out of 4, when you talk about John Wick, he put a lot of them down with headshots. Tactically, the way he moved, the way he cleared a room, very realistic. It was like watching an artist, okay, in kind of a sick kind of way. It was like watching an artist. His killmanship, I don't know if that's a word, but his art of killmanship was incredible. Again, bearing in mind that he is a fictional character. In real life, no one is that lucky. It's like the bad guys always came at him one or two at a time, right? It's like they were stacked up waiting for their cue to come on, and in reality that's what happened. But hardly ever missing? No, that's not the case. Making those kind of headshots, is it possible? Yeah, it's possible. But when you combine all of those, 100 different altercations, and always coming out on top, always living, the odds are that that's not going to happen. I also noticed he shoots right-handed, but he writes left-handed. That was interesting as well. But and he was trained by Taran Butler from Taran Tactical, and I went online, I checked them out. 3-gun champion Taran Butler. I watched videos of Keanu Reeves, actually shooting. He runs a 3-gun course that he does, and he's good. I'm watching him. Yeah, he's better than I am. I don't know that I could teach him anything. His thought process, really unusual. I tried to find out, is he anti-gun? And I really couldn't find out. I mean, I searched and searched. There's not a whole lot out there on the internet. There's one interview done by the BBC back in 2008 where he says, yeah, citizens should have the right to own firearms, but he was kind of iffy back and forth about that. In this interview, the interviewer asks him, says, Mr. Reeves, do you own a gun? He says, no. Would you like to? And he says, not necessarily, but I admit guns can be sexy. He said he grew up in Toronto, Canada, where gun laws are a lot stricter. And in America, the feeling is more relaxed here in America about guns. And there's a certain violence that's in the spirit of the age. Now, this was 11 years ago that he did that. He watched Bowling for Columbine, and he said, yes, I think the basic assumption of the movie is correct. Because America was born out of a movement of fleeing and persecution, people here feel a greater need to defend themselves. There's more to it than that, though. In every one of us lies the potential for violence that could manifest itself sooner or later. And it's like he went back and forth. He never gave a straight answer on whether or not he's anti-gun or pro-gun. And it's not necessarily a binary thing, because it's not that simple. People are more complicated than that. And I think Keanu Reeves, he's a complicated personality. So I guess, if I were to sum it up, it's like, all right, I enjoyed the movie to a point. I have misgivings about the extreme violence. I don't want to desensitize people to killing other humans that much. And I got to be careful I don't sound like an anti-gunner. It's what I do. I teach people how to kill other bad guys, right? That's what I do for a living. But again, for me, it's always the context of the killing. What is the context? Why are you killing? If you're killing out of revenge, like John Wick, then you shouldn't be doing that. If you're killing for a righteous cause, you're a Marine fighting for your country for a righteous cause, great. But not for revenge, okay? Not to work through some grief. But some of you are going to disagree with me. If you disagree with me, go ahead, send me an email, skipcoryell@hotmail.com, skipcoryell@hotmail.com, and I will go ahead and I'll read your comments, your thoughts next week on the air. I won't say your name. I'll certainly honor your privacy. But just to be clear, anyone comes looking for my family, anybody that I love, I'll use deadly force. I won't hesitate. It's predetermined. It's predecided. But I don't do violence for vengeance sake. Okay? Anyways, that was my take. Be interested to hear yours on John Wick. Again, send me an email, skipcoryell@hotmail.com. Now, in the next segment, we're going to have a short interview from John Wick himself. I couldn't get a hold of Keanu Reeves. For some reason, he's not taking my phone calls. So I got John Wick instead. This is the real fictional character, John Wick. So we're going to do that in the next segment. While we are away, go ahead and check out our sponsors, firearmslegal.com/Midwest Tactical, and also Center Shot Indoor Gun Range, centershotgunrange.com, where it's always a perfect 70 degrees. This is Skip Coryell on the Home Defense Show. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back.
This is Felix Coryell on the Home Defense Show. Always use guns safely and wisely. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Hey folks, I want to tell you about my book, Civilian Combat, the Concealed Carry Book. More and more people across the country are seeing the dangers in society and are deciding to carry concealed to protect themselves and their families. My new book lays it out step by step. It'll teach you how to protect and defend the ones you love. Get the benefit of 19 years of teaching experience and a lifetime of training for this important role in society and in your family. You can get Civilian Combat real easy. Just go to Amazon.com, search on Skip Coryell Civilian Combat, and it'll pop right up there. Don't put it off any longer. Get Civilian Combat, the Concealed Carry Book by yours truly, Skip Coryell.
Wouldn't it be wonderful if life was like the movies and the good guys always won? In today's world, if you're forced to use your firearm to protect yourself, you will need protection. Firearms Legal Protection is here for you. FLP provides you with seasoned, experienced attorneys that handle your criminal and civil matters as a result of you protecting yourself. FirearmsLegal.com provides its members with uncapped attorney's fees, bail bond protection, and coverage in all 50 states. We are not a reimbursement plan. You can access uncapped attorney's fees for as low as $10 a month. Firearms Legal members are provided with educational services, training videos, and access to our vast national attorney network. While you're protecting yourself, let Firearms Legal protect you.
Listen up, folks. This is important. There are plenty of legal protection services out there, but none will protect you as well as Firearms Legal Protection. This is the one I use and the only one I recommend. Visit firearmslegal.com/Midwest Tactical and protect your family now. Would you like to take your tactical and marksmanship training to the next level? If the answer is yes, you need to check out Center Shot Indoor Gun Range just south of Grand Rapids, conveniently located off US 131. Center Shot is one of the most advanced firing ranges in Michigan. Center Shot firing lanes have nearly 100 customizable shooting programs to make you better no matter what your skill level. Our advanced lanes allow a more immersive training experience to enhance your senses. Controlled lighting and target movement mean that you get the best practice and most fun out of Center Shot Indoor Gun Range. Memberships are available for as low as $150. Center Shot also offers a 10% discount to U.S. military veterans. So, no matter what the weather, hot, cold, or in between, Center Shot Indoor Gun Range is always a perfect 70 degrees. This is where I train every week, and so should you. Find out more by going to centershotgunrange.com or call them at 616-371-7468. Stay safe, and I'll see you at Center Shot Indoor Gun Range. Hey folks, I want to tell you about my new book, Concealed Carry for Christians. More and more people across the country are seeing the dangers in society and are deciding to carry concealed to protect themselves and your family, and that includes people of faith. our churches are not as safe as they used to be, and that's why I included chapters on forming church safety teams and stopping mass shooters. You can get Concealed Carry for Christians real easy. Just go to Amazon.com, search on Skip Coryell, Concealed Carry for Christians, and it'll pop right up there. Don't put it off any longer. Get Concealed Carry for Christians by yours truly, Skip Coryell. Well, okay, folks, welcome back to the Home Defense Show. This is your host, Skip Coryell. Now, in last segment, I told you my views about the John Wick movie, and I promised you an interview from the actual character himself, John Wick. John Wick, welcome to the Home Defense Show. Sure. So, Mr. Wick, I just finished watching the first movie in the John Wick series, and I have to tell you, I was incredibly impressed with your shooting prowess. How did you get so good? It was easy. I just pull up the gun and press the trigger. Really? That's it? You just press the trigger? Yep. How much do you practice every day? Practice? I don't practice. Practice is for wimps. But you never miss. You must practice. All of us have to practice to get better. Nope. I don't have to practice. I just point and pretend like I'm looking down the sights and poof, the brains go everywhere. And I do miss once in a while. It's all predetermined, you know. You mean fatalistic? No. I mean the writers decide when I should kill somebody and when I should miss. If they want me to kill somebody, then I kill them. If they want me to miss, then I miss. It's that simple. I'm a simple man. And why so many headshots? Why not? Well, okay. I guess I never thought of it that way. Hey, listen. Headshots are effective. Just as easy as center mass shots. I do what the director tells me to do. It's not personal. It's just business, okay? That's interesting. Mr. Wick, did you know that most people have trouble with headshots on running targets? Really? Why's that? All you gotta do is point and press the trigger. I see. Well, let's segue into something else. Mr. Wick, how do you feel about killing so many people in your movies? They're not people. They're actors. They signed up for the movie, they got paid, and they read the script. They knew coming in what was going to happen to them. They did? Damn straight they did. They signed a contract, so I got no problem killing them if they show up on the set. It's not personal, and I bear them no ill will. Some people just gotta die. That's all. It's written into the script. Ah, I see. So, John, a lot of people say you are a very angry person, and that's what drives you to kill. Is there any truth in that? Well, of course I'm angry. My wife just died, and they killed my dog and stole my car. Wouldn't you be angry? Well, yeah, I suppose so, but I'm not sure I'd go on a killing spree just to get revenge. They killed my stupid dog. I raised that dog from a pup. John, you only had that dog for a few days. But they killed it. That's the point. They killed my dog. I can't let them get away with that. Word like that gets out on the street, they stole John Wick's car and killed his dog, and I do nothing? Hell, my life wouldn't be worth a plug nickel. Okay, well, John, let's move on from there. It's been almost 6 years since your wife died now. Are you getting past it, or are you still going through the grieving process? It depends. On what? Depends on the script and what the director wants me to do. I keep telling you that. If he wants me angry, I do anger. If he wants somebody dead, then I kill him. Headshots, body shots, it don't matter. I do what I gotta do, and that's all there is to it. So do you feel any sort of responsibility or maybe remorse for all the killing that you do? Not really. Of course, if it's written into the script or if the director wants me to feel something other than anger or extreme grief, then I'll go ahead and do it. But I'll need some advanced warning. I don't do sadness very well. So, John, some people say you're a complex personality, that you have a softer side, that you're stoic nature is just a protective exterior that hides a vulnerable, softer side of you. Who said that? You tell me who it is and I'll kill him outright. Never mind, John. Let's move on to something else. So, John, I host the Home Defense Show, and we're largely a pro-gun audience. How do you feel about gun control? Gun control is important. I need guns to do my job, and I need to control those guns. And I'm really good at it. And that's why I hardly ever miss. So, yeah, I'm pro-gun, and I'm pro-gun control. John, that doesn't make any sense to me at all. Well, what did you expect? You called me up on the spur of the moment. You didn't give me a script, and you expect me to make sense? I keep telling you I do better with a script. Just give me a script and I'll read it. Tell me who to kill, and I'll kill it. I see. So, John, tell me about John Wick 4. That movie's coming out in 2021. What is that all about? Well, they haven't completed the final script yet, but near as I can tell, my feelings get hurt, and then I get mad and kill all the bad guys. Lots of headshots, lots of knife work, lots of kicking and punching. It's all good stuff. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Oh, I see. Well, I can't wait to see it. John, let's get a little more personal now. John, is there a love interest in your life right now? I mean, not on stage, but, in your own personal life. Are you dating anyone? Not so far. I'm pretty busy grieving and killing, so there's not much time to fall in love these days. I'm just a grieving, killing machine. Oh, I see. Well, Mr. Wick, we are about out of time for this segment of the Home Defense Show, but I want to thank you for your time. No problem. Just one more question. Shoot. Have you killed anyone yet today? Are you making fun of me, boy? Because if you are, I will shoot you in the head and then gut you out like a fetal pig in a high school biology class. Do we understand each other? Yes, sir. I understand. I got work to do. I need to go cry alone where no one can see me, then go out and kill a half dozen bad guys. I gotta go. Whoa. Well, okay. Folks, we're about out of time for this segment of the Home Defense Show. That was great having Mr. John Wick on the show. I don't think there's ever been an interview of that kind anywhere with Mr. Wick at any time that the interviewer actually survived. So, but while we're away, we got a 2-minute break. Go ahead and check out our sponsors, firearmslegal.com/MidwestTactical. I don't know if John Wick has FLP. I'm kind of thinking he doesn't need it. But for the rest of us in Reelsville, we need firearms legal protection. And the rest of us also need Center Shot Indoor Gun Range because we have to practice. John never misses unless he's been told to miss. So, but for us, go to centershotgunrange.com and then go to Door, Michigan, Center Shot Indoor Gun Range, where it's always a perfect 70 degrees. This is Skip Coryell on the Home Defense Show. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Welcome to my dad's Home Defense Radio show. You're gonna love it.
Hey folks, I want to tell you about my book, Civilian Combat, the Concealed Carry Book. More and more people across the country are seeing the dangers in society and are deciding to carry concealed to protect themselves and their families. My new book lays it out step by step. It'll teach you how to protect and defend the ones you love. Get the benefit of 19 years of teaching experience and a lifetime of training for this important role in society and in your family. You can get Civilian Combat real easy. Just go to Amazon.com, search on Skip Coryell Civilian Combat, and it'll pop right up there. Don't put it off any longer. Get Civilian Combat, the Concealed Carry Book by yours truly, Skip Coryell.
This is Colonel Danny Gillum. I host Frontlines of Freedom, a weekly syndicated military talk radio show. One of my co-hosts is Skip Coryell, the host of this show. We cover things that impact military and veteran communities, and we do it from the veteran's perspective. The show is broadcast across the nation and is also available as a podcast on our website, frontlinesoffreedom.com. Please join Skip and me weekly on Frontlines of Freedom. Skip, it's Armed America time. Lead us out, bro.
All of us here at Front Lines of Freedom want our listeners to get trained and get armed in that order. We fully support the right to keep and bear arms for all law-abiding families, and we encourage you to find out about the laws governing use of deadly force in your state and follow them to the letter. And of course, don't forget to follow the rules of safety and common sense whenever you're carrying a firearm to protect the ones you love. What's the story this week, Colonel?
Well, at a gas station in Mount Clemens, Michigan, a clerk and several customers were inside the store when a masked gunman came into the building. The thief demanded money from the clerk and the customers. In response, the clerk pulled out a firearm and shot the suspect near the front door. The injured man was taken to an area hospital. A police investigation was underway with a forthcoming arrest warrant expected for the alleged gunman. Police said it was unlikely the charges would be filed against the store clerk, who was thought to be acting to defend himself and his customers.
Thanks, Colonel. One of the most dangerous jobs in our American culture is that of a gas station or convenience store clerk. In fact, being a gas station clerk can be every bit as dangerous as a police officer. However, police have an edge in that they are highly trained, they can call in backup, and they are armed. A gas station or convenience store clerk has none of those advantages. And to top it all off, they get very little in the form of paycheck for their troubles. Why is it so dangerous? Well, it's because a gas station clerk typically will work through all hours of the day, sometimes all night long when criminals tend to be more active. The convenience store clerk and gas station clerk also have a high amount of interaction with the general public. According to killology expert Lieutenant Colonel Dave Grossman, approximately 1% of our society are sociopaths, and an even higher percentage are violent criminals. That means that in an average shift, where a clerk waits on hundreds of people each night, they are statistically certain to deal with dangerous criminals. Store clerks are also forced to work alone. I can't tell you how many times I've gone into a gas station at night or early morning hours and cringed when I saw a young man or even a woman working alone behind the counter. This is not wise policy, and I discourage anyone from working in a situation like that. So, what can you do to protect yourself in a job like this? 1. Get trained and get armed. The more self-defense training you have, the better. This is one job I would refuse to do without a gun as backup, and the gun should be on your person, concealed and not under the counter. 2. More importantly, operate at condition yellow, a heightened state of awareness. Watch the parking lot for suspicious people and activities and call the police if you suspect danger. This Michigan clerk did a great job identifying the danger and taking the robber out of commission. Front Lines of Freedom salutes this clerk and all who serve us in dangerous jobs. Well done.
Amen, brother.
Hey folks, I want to tell you about my new book, Concealed Carry for Christians. More and more people across the country are seeing the dangers in society and are deciding to carry concealed to protect themselves and your family, and that includes people of faith. Our churches are not as safe as they used to be, and that's why I included chapters on forming church safety teams and stopping mass shooters. You can get Concealed Carry for Christians real easy. Just go to Amazon.com, search on Skip Coryell, Concealed Carry for Christians, and it'll pop right up there. Don't put it off any longer. Get Concealed Carry for Christians by yours truly, Skip Coryell. Okay, folks, welcome back to the Home Defense Show. This is your host, Skip Coryell. Now, that was an interesting interview with John Wick, fictional character, played by Keanu Reeves in the movie John Wick. I don't think I've ever had an interview like that, or anyone, and I'm not sure I ever want to do that again. I hope he doesn't know where I live. This guy's dangerous. Total lunatic. But anyways, I want to lighten it up a little bit. So, first I want to introduce a special guest. Her name is Amethyst Coryell, my 8-year-old daughter. Amethyst, welcome to the Home Defense Show.
Thanks for having me, Dad.
All right. Well, there might be a double meaning to that, but yes, your mother and I both had you, and it's been great fun ever since. Now, Amethyst, tell me, what do you like about the summertime?
I like the flowers and going swimming.
Oh, we go swimming just about almost every day here during the hot summer. What do you think about this hot weather?
I don't like it.
I don't like it either. But Amethyst, we are going to go ahead and we're going to go swimming again tonight like we always do. We'll have a great time. We'll get cooled off. And maybe the weather will calm down over the next week. It's supposed to do that. So, Amethyst, I want to thank you for being on the Home Defense Show today.
Thanks, Dad.
All right. All right, Phoenix, get up here. You're holding a dog. What kind of dog is it? Who is that?
I'm holding her because I'm trying to make it so that she doesn't make any noise.
Oh, okay, because we're recording, right?
Yep.
All right, well, Phoenix, you're in a business with your brother, Cedar. What kind of business do you guys have?
A egg selling business.
That's right, you sell eggs. How many chickens do you have?
About 41 or 2, I think.
Yeah, the number keeps changing. We used to have 50. Why do we only have 40 chickens now?
Because they keep on dying due to a couple foxes, raccoons, and possums.
Oh my gosh, yes. It's something that just keeps happening, and Daddy's going to try and take care of that for you. Okay, well, you keep taking care of those chickens. Did you feed and water the chickens today?
Yes.
Okay. All right, now, we're going to move on to Cedar now, but Phoenix, I want to thank you for being on the Home Defense Show today.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, all right, go upstairs and play with your sister, okay?
Okay.
All right, love you, buddy.
Love you.
All right. Cedar Lance Coryell, my 13-year-old son. Tell me what's been happening with your chickens, because your business is falling on hard times. What's going on?
Well, to break it to you, they're being eaten, and I don't like it.
They're being eaten. They're being eaten by what?
Foxes, possums, coons, everything that's bad.
Yeah, okay.
Not liberals, though.
Okay, not liberals. Well, they could be liberal. We don't know their politics. If they're eating our chickens, we don't really care about their politics. However, Cedar, you recently, you spent most of the night laying on top of the chicken coop with a 410 gauge shotgun, and you got your first confirmed kill. Tell the listeners the story. What, from the time you saw the possum, tell us the whole story. Go ahead.
Well, so I was sitting out there, and there's a whole bunch of noise going on. I heard some coons that were out fighting, and one time a plane flew over, and I don't know what it was, but I don't know if it was a coyote or what, but a whole bunch of noise, a whole cacophony just echoed out, and there was a bunch of howling. But when the possum came up, it was just a little shadow. There wasn't a whole lot of moonlight. And so I brought the gun up. I stood up. It started waddling away once it noticed me. And boom.
And boom?
Boom.
You said you had trouble finding the safety switch.
No comment.
No, okay. You got to know your gun, don't you? You got to know your tools. All right. The one thing that I'm most interested in now is, how did you feel about killing this animal? I want your honest thoughts. Did you enjoy it? Did you feel good? Did you feel bad, sad, whatever? Tell me about that.
Well, I felt different. I wasn't happy that I killed it. I'm just happy that my chickens weren't eaten.
Yeah. Okay, so it's not something that you enjoyed doing. What, you just saw it as like a job that had to be done?
Yes, sir, and I'll do it again.
You'll do it again. Okay. All right. Well, Cedar, thank you for a job well done. We'll get you out there again because there's a giant prehistoric mutant junkie raccoon that has to be destroyed tonight, and I think you're the man to do it. So thank you, Cedar, for being on the Home Defense Show.
All right. Glad to be here.
All right. Okay. Head on up there. Well, okay. Why did I just do that? I mean, it's like we went from John Wick, the fictional killing machine, to my real-life family. Tender waifs of children. I did that because I want people to understand the context. What's the difference between me and John Wick, between you and John Wick, your wife and John Wick? There's a huge difference. One is real, one is not. But why do we, as innocent civilians, why do we have to kill? Well, the answer is sometimes life dictates that we kill. It's impossible to go through life without killing animals. Even if you're a vegan, right? There's some aspect of life where you are supporting killing animals. You don't realize it, but if you think through it, you do. If you drive in a car, you kill an animal. If you drive on a jet, you kill an animal. If you wear a leather belt, you've killed an animal. You are complicit, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. Everything is about the context of the killing. Now, I want to share some inside information, right? When Cedar was talking about killing that possum, he was a little boisterous because he knew it was going to be heard by all the listeners on the Home Defense Show. But when I talked to him about it privately, he wasn't quite so jovial about it. He was more reverent, more introspective. I could tell that it bothered him. And I just did my best to reason it out with him and say, listen, you got two choices. You can feed the raccoons, or you can let the chickens feed us. If you don't kill the raccoons, then they're going to eat the chickens. It's just basic cause and effect. And I reasoned out with him, and I think he struggled a little bit, and now he's okay with it. And that's what I want. I don't want people to be comfortable with killing, whether you're killing a raccoon or whether you're killing the man who's raping your wife. Okay, you should never feel comfortable with that. It's a job that has to be done because of the context. And that's how it should be viewed. Even now, in the fall. Last year I killed 4 deer. This year, hopefully I'll kill another 4 deer. Why? Because I want to fill the freezer. Do I enjoy killing? No, I don't. I don't enjoy that deer dying. But I do enjoy the meat, and I enjoy feeding my family. But there's always a reverence when you're killing. There's always a sense of remorse when you're killing. It's supposed to be sad. It's not supposed to be a mindless thing that we do with no sensitivity at all. Most people in my basic CPL class, they go too far the other way, and they go, oh, I can't do this, and as a result, they can't do it. But sometimes it needs to be done. There are other people like John Wick who don't feel anything when they kill. What is that? That's a sociopath. That's a psychopath. And we have a lot of dark heroes in our society. It didn't used to be that way. Our heroes are becoming more and more dark, when what we need are more and more light heroes. Well, I don't want to get too heavy here, especially at the end of the show. What I want to express is that you need to be careful with what goes into your mind. Do not have a steady diet of John Wick and Die Hard, okay? Do not totally desensitize yourself to killing. Even if you're a police officer, I don't care if you're a Marine Corps sniper. You have to understand and examine introspectively the context of whatever killing that you're doing. You have to be able to justify it legally and morally in your own mind. It's a spiritual thing. So, you civilians, us civilians, we got to do the same thing. All right, well, I hope, this hasn't been too bizarre for you. This has been kind of a weird show, but I enjoyed it, and I didn't really know what I was getting into when I did this, but it's been a good show. I enjoyed it very much. Well, Okay, folks, that about wraps it up for this week's episode of the Home Defense Show. I'm your host, Skip Coryell. Until next week, remember your purpose in life is to find something greater than yourself and serve it. Always remember, God, family, country, in that order. It's important how you live, but it's equally important how you die. Your family and the ones you love need your protection, so train, always train, stay alert, stay alive. Until next week on the Home Defense Show, this is your host, Skip Coryell. God bless you, God bless your family, and God bless America. Well, that John Wick guy is crazy as a loon. Man, couldn't believe that guy.
Thank you for joining us this week on the Home Defense Show. Now, get out there and protect the ones you love. We'll see you next week with more of the best in home defense.
Bye-bye, boys! Have fun storming the castle!